Great good morning, everyone. It is 9:08. Well, it's 9:09 on the dot on my Cordaro Jewelers watch. This beautiful but sweltering Tuesday, May 19, year of our Lord 2026. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, broadcasting today from the United States of America, the country which has made the world much better. It's also the place for the brave, like the veterans we've lost this year, but salute today, thanks to John Basiliga and his great Serenity Care senior living community, like Captain John Smith, Wilkes-Barre Township, Carol Angwin, Taylor, Eugene Fury, Old Forge, David Palmeter, Taylor, Robert Tucker, Leyte, California, but he was from Plymouth, and Donald Kozlowski, Scranton, the United States of America, founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our amazing, irreplaceable, and profoundly wise founding fathers who knew that government should not be, could not be, and never would be if we follow the Constitution, our parent, our guide, our direction, our salvation. Not any of these things. Because government power always means less freedom, less liberty, and less choice for Americans. These amazing men also knew that government power, because of human nature, should only be a necessary evil designed to protect and organize society. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared by law to be an unalienable right. That means they can't separate it from you. Granted to each individual by God. Freedom couldn't be parceled out to groups. It couldn't be controlled by government or government officials because our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and even freedom of the press, despite years of abuse by leftists. The United States of America. The country where people were armed with all of those freedoms. And because of that fact, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, many of them rejects from around the world, they and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro Show, well, it'll always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And so we gavel to order today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our total, immersive, immovable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who hearken here for the balance of this singular, extraordinary morning. A gentle warning, this is not a safe harbor for stupidity. Such silliness will be roundly, and dare I say, harshly attacked throughout the program. We will not suffer fools gladly. Their foolishness and ignorance, willful or otherwise, will be called out with intent, purpose, and vigor, designed and unfortunately necessary to save our great American Republic from evil, senselessness, and weakness, which can bring this noble and successful experiment down. Now, all we have to do is vote. It's election day. Twice a year. Vote. Oh, we are ready, baby. We are ready. It's election day, guys. You got to be excited. And I know I just heard from a friend of mine. She is on the board of elections or whatever up in Dalton, I believe it is. I'm going to look at it specifically because I want to. And you see her on the show, and she comes in with the great gang from ARC. And we're going to do that with her next Tuesday with that whole great gang. She's judge of elections in Newton. And it's a full day. And you cannot conduct these elections without those people. God bless them. So all of you, if you're sitting out there and you're prepared for the election, and it's going to be a slow election day because we cannot get people to vote the way they should, as often as they should. Can't get them to do what they have to do. Just remember this. You were not asked, Brother Mike voted, there we go, but you were not asked to storm the beaches at Normandy. You were asked to vote, and vote commonsensically, and not vote blindly by Democrat Party. And now the Democrat Party has left the building. Elvis is still in it. The Democrat Party's gone. That means go vote. Vote common sense. Vote for Stacey Garrity today. Vote for Jason Ritchie, Lieutenant Governor. It's a separate vote. By the way, just reminding you, we are on live stream. I've got my Camp Freedom shirt on. Roach Supply is bringing you all of that. They are the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania. They're celebrating 75 years in business. And Ron Roach, the head honcho up there, working with 2 generations. He's a nonagenarian. They're still getting it done. And 75 years in business, just like our friends at Picardo's. What does that mean? That means they're fair, they're good to deal with, they know what they're doing, product, price, fairness, all that. Roach Supply, ROCHE.com today. And just a mention, our friends at the Mulberry Bush who have moved to Hopkins Farm Greenhouse up on River Road in Falls. They used to be on Mulberry Street in Scranton for forever, it seemed. I got my honey. I got my honey from them, and I love it. Absolutely awesome. Local honey. So the election is today, guys. I'm just asking you, please vote. This is Memorial Day weekend. The people, and remember what Memorial Day is. Memorial Day is for the people, celebrating the people who lost their lives fighting for this country. It has been broadened out to those who are no longer with us, who fought for this country, who served our military. And that's great. So I would ask you, please, vote for them in their memory. If you're a left-wing lunatic, no, don't bother. Don't bother. You're not doing anybody any good except the establishment. By the way, I'm still waiting to hear. I don't know if they're slow on the draw or where we're at, but that San Diego mosque shooting. Think of that. 3 people killed, 2 teenagers whose life is over. What in God's name happened to these kids? We've got to find out. And look we're anti-Islamist on this program. That doesn't mean we're anti-Muslim. It can be a beautiful religion when it is not perverted by lunatics, when it's not used by the left-wing lunatics as a partnership to destroy America. These are people, and there were kids in that school. I mean, anything could have happened. Scary, scary stuff. And again, two teenagers. They killed 3 people. This is not Pokemon. This is not some video game. Somebody texts in, Bob, defend Trump dipping his mitts in the $1.776 billion slush fund to pay oath keepers and others found guilty by a court of law of sedition and treason. Unfortunately, you can't acknowledge, and we've given you example after example, proof after proof, that the Biden Justice Department corruptly, politically prosecuted those who opposed them. You don't get it. There's my defense. The government pays when they unlawfully, politically prosecute people for that haven't committed crimes. I've got no problem with it. Zero problem with it. See, you've got a problem. You had no problem with going after Trump, inventing criminal charges against Donald Trump because you hate him. And I got to be honest, at the time I'm thinking, well, at least it'll get Trump out of the way. But he's come back stronger than ever, and by the way, better than ever. So again, like a troll. So Biden owned the judges? Who said that? Who said that? Nobody said that. See, you just make crap up. This is what the left and the Democrats do. They make up what you said. They reform it so they have a chance to win the argument because they're always wrong. Always wrong. That's sad. And instead of sitting back and saying, maybe I haven't thought this through. Maybe the government isn't the answer to everything. Maybe the Democrat Party is sick, evil, and corrupted. No, it's my team. I'm for them no matter what they do. And I hate Trump. So even common sense has left my brain. No, that's what you do. Sad. I don't get it. You got to go look in the mirror and check yourself. And while you're checking yourself, we'll hear from our great sponsors. By the way, we got Journey tickets to give away for that Friday, November 6th deal at Mohican Arena at the great Governor Casey Plaza. All right? It's coming. It's coming. I'm going to let the Bulldog give me some guidance because I don't know when the morning guys did their deal. But it's coming. We're going to have a good day. We'll take a break and be back. And that's Bobby Darin. I had no idea. A little bit of a range for our guy, Bobby Darin. This date, 1958, Murph tells us, Splish Splash, released on Atco Records. Written by Darin and DJ Murray. Murray the K, the DJ. Wow, that's what the DJ means. Who bet that Darin couldn't write a song that began Splish Splash. I was taking a bath. Now, this was suggested by Murray's mother, Jean. It reached number 3 in the U.S., number 18 in the U.K. I guess Darin won the bet. Yes, he did. Bobby Darin and Murray the K. Obviously, both music legends. And a joke became a big hit. And then, of course, the Emergency Quota Act. We've controlled immigration before. Now, by the way, did they call it racist back then because it wasn't people of other colors? Because it wasn't African Americans? It was Europeans? It wasn't South Americans? It wasn't Muslims? No, nobody called it racist. That's unreal. Sad, 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 sad. One of the trolls, I don't even know what you mean by this. If you're too far gone, if you think 1,776 settlements are okay. Is that how many they settled? No, see, and troll, you prove it every day that you're an idiot. You've chosen to be an idiot. You send in multiple messages every day proving you're an ass. What do you want me? And yeah, I'm going to take judgment from you. I'm going to listen to your opinion when you vote Democrat and voted for Kamala Harris. If you voted for Kamala Harris, I'm taking no advice from you on anything. Just remember that. Navy guy points out rightly, Bob, when was somebody charged with sedition and treason? Well, nobody was. You're exactly right. This is what they say. Oh, by the way, where are we here? Oh, Bob, read Michael Connolly's book. I've read a lot of Michael Connolly. The Proving Ground. Very current look at AI in our lives today. And then Music Man says, LTS, thank you for honoring our veterans each day. I was number 1 to vote today, again, 2 years in a row. Thank you, Music Man. Just thank you for doing your part. That is great. Somebody texted in a little bit earlier. Do we have time? I want to go into a couple of these. Let's find the beginning of it. Bob LTS, whether you're Democrat, Republican, or Independent, before you vote today, just remember the damage Joe Biden did to our country. Wide open borders, letting drug dealers, rapists, murderers, terrorists in unvetted. And don't forget, while he was having people fired from their jobs for not taking the shot, he was letting millions in who... This is the insanity of these people, the disgrace of these people. But the listener continues, terrorists in unvetted men and women's sports, boys and girls locker rooms, and mutilation of our innocent children with unnecessary transgender operations. Joe Biden, the scrappy fraud from Scranton, PA. Joe Biden paid Charlottesville, Virginia hate rally, why he ran for president, and a stolen valor hometown banner. Joe Biden, the scumbag and jackass of the Century Award, give him that honor on a banner. Yes, I'm with you on that one. I mean, total scum. Total scum, and these people voted for him, and they think, oh, I'm going to listen to your opinion. Your opinion has value. No, it has zero value. Somebody texts in, the most terrifying and telling thing about the left is they are the party of big government, but only when they have all the power. And they have proven they will abuse it. Yes, they have. Oh, Lord. It's sad. And they'll come back on some little tiny point of nonsense. Then, oh, yeah, I made a point there. You're wrong about everything. If you voted Democrat, if you voted for Kamala Harris, you are probably wrong about everything. And I volunteer myself to help you cross the street because you are messed up. 9:32 on my Cordaro Jewelers watch. That means we've got to take a break, hear from our great sponsors, come back with our Veterans Tribute, the weather, and maybe we're going to give these tickets away. Journey. That's a great concert. We'll be back. I follow a post on Instagram that is veteran oriented, and boy, they just have some great veterans with amazing recollections. And we're going to lead off at least one of the tributes each day with their great remembrances. But this Veterans Tribute is brought to you dutifully, patriotically, by John Basiliga and his Serenity Care Senior Living Community. 4 locations, Mid-Valley, Old Forge, Wyoming, Kingston, dementia units at the Mid-Valley and Kingston facilities. John has a passion for providing the highest quality senior care in this area and beautiful personal care homes for seniors to live in. So all 4 personal care locations, completely renovated, inside and out. All-inclusive monthly rent, newly renovated, state-of-the-art, private, semi-private rooms, suites, and companion suites. Individual controlled heating and cooling. Emergency call systems, every room. Daily housekeeping and laundry services. Restaurant quality meals 3 times a day. Serenity Care, a senior living community better than all. Captain John Smith retired. We lost him May 3rd. He was 95 years old. He was born in Wilkes-Barre Township. Think of this, March 8th, 1931, what those eyes had seen. He attended Wilkes-Barre Township and Wilkes-Barre City Schools. Served 3 years for all of us in the National Guard. He drove truck for a number of years. Then in 1960, he joined the Wilkes-Barre City Police Force. He was a patrol officer, motorcycle officer, and the city's first canine officer. He achieved the rank of sergeant and retired in 1986 at the rank of captain of patrol. Favorite pastimes, fishing and hunting with sons and grandsons at the family cabin in Thornhurst. John was married to the former Rosemary Williams for 76 years. Survived by his wife, Rosemary, daughter, 3 sons, 11 grandchildren, 18 great-grandchildren, numerous nieces and nephews. National Guardsman and Wilkes-Barre City Police, Captain John Smith. Carol Angwin. We lost her May 2nd at age 84. She was from Taylor. Born in Scranton, a graduate of Dunmore High School. She was a U.S. Navy veteran, serving all of us when it wasn't so easy. Longtime member of the Dunmore United Methodist Church. Prior to retirement, Carol was employed by HarperCollins Publishing in Dunmore. Her friends and family say very intelligent and independent person who became very successful in her career. Started as a typist and rose to director of customer service. She knitted afghans for residents at St. Mary's Ville at Christmas time. She had a great passion for animals. She was very thoughtful, generous to friends, and known for her big heart. She enjoyed her monthly luncheons with co-workers who became her family. Carol survived by cousins and dear friends. Carol Angwin, U.S. Navy. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by the man, John Basiliga, and his great Serenity Care senior living community. AccuWeather forecast from our friends at Montage Mountain. Well, today, sunshine mixing with clouds, and it's going to be hot. A thunderstorm in the area late this afternoon. Thunderstorms can bring localized damaging wind gusts, high 92. Tonight, partly cloudy, warm and humid, 69 for the low. Tomorrow, Wednesday, not as warm with times of clouds and sun, a couple of showers, and a thunderstorm in the afternoon. Thunderstorms can bring localized damaging wind gusts, high 81, low 48. Thursday, not as warm with lower humidity. Intervals of clouds and sunshine, high 69, low 45. Friday, sun and areas of clouds, 67. So the temperature's bumping up a little bit, they think, and a low of 49. Saturday, or as Cutie would say, Saturday, cooler with periods of rain. Outdoor plans can be impacted. It'll only be 55, low 51. I went to Catholic grade school, and the nuns at Sandy's, they always had us worrying about droughts and all that kind of thing. So when they say it's going to be a rainy day, I'm happy. I hope you are. But that's your weather, brought to you by our friends at Montage Mountain Resorts, where it is 81 degrees as I speak. While the Drifters are playing Bulldog, let's do this ticket giveaway. Friday, November 6th, Mohegan Arena at Casey Plaza. A pair of tickets to see Journey for that great show. We're going to do it now. 570-883-0098. 570-883-0098 to call to win those tickets to see Journey. The Drifters. Murph tells us they recorded their hit Save the Last Dance for Me with Ben E. King on the lead vocals. We've heard him, Stand By Me, all that. Wouldn't that be great? I think of the people Joe Nardone brings, and I think to myself, man, how, and I ask them when they're on the show, how proud you must be, and I mean not swell-headed, but proud that you gave this kind of timeless music to the world. What an amazing legacy. Caller number 7. Why not go 7? Bulldog. I forgot to say that. Caller number 7 wins the tickets to see Journey. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll announce the winner and do more. We got a winner, as I tell you what Murph told me, which is this date, 1969. The Beatles hit Get Back, certified gold. Jerry, it's gold. I tell you, it's gold for sales of over 1 million copies. Bulldog, who's the winner? Claudette from Drums. Congratulations. She'll be going to see Journey with an accompaniment on Friday, November 6th. I think that's cool. I mean, I saw Journey forever ago, and they were fabulous. They truly were. So somebody says, can we have someone set up a billboard with Joe Biden on it with Jackass of the Century Award on it next to the Biden banner? I know. Oh, Lord. Another. Joe Biden, why didn't the lying fraud jackass tell the real truth? I'm running for president at my old age because of the paid Charlottesville, Virginia hate rally protest funded by my corrupt donors and cronies, the Southern Poverty Law Center, to destroy the American dream as we know it. Aren't you proud of this scrappy scumbag fraud by the name of Joe Biden? Come on, man. What a disgrace, the Greenridge Neighborhood Association, delving into politics like asses and not being able to admit they're wrong after they discover they are. Disgrace. Well, my Cordaro Jeweler watch says it's approaching $950, and they got all kinds of watches, believe me. I almost forgot to tell you, I went back to my law school class reunion at Penn last Friday night, that Friday and Saturday events. There were no award for it, but I know I spent the longest time in prison out of any of my classmates. But they were great. It was good to see everybody again. It really was. And some of them reformed from their left-wing ways. This date, 1972, Murph tells us Elton John. He released his fifth album, Honky Chateau, named after the French home where it was recorded, Chateau d'Hérouville. The album would be his first of 7 albums to climb into the top 10 album charts, Rocket Man. Trump forever ruined the song by naming it after Kim Jong-un. And actually, Elton John got a kick out of it because he was friends with Trump for years. We're back. Bob Cordaro, WILK, and all of that. Somebody says, how about Biden for letting a Chinese balloon fly over the whole country to collect all the data they wanted? Another, good morning, Bob. What is up with Luzerne County? We were told in Sugarloaf the county lost the voting machine contract. Yeah, question mark, question mark, question mark. We had to vote paper ballots. Looks like they're preparing for a giant fix for the midterms. Next, we'll be voting via smoke signals. LTS, buddy, and I say LTS back at you. Oh, Lord. It's somebody else. Why doesn't the right pursue Biden and his family's money grab with China? Identify their accounts and prosecute them while they have power. It was criminal and treasonous. It was completely criminal and treasonous. And it didn't just come from China. It did not just come from China. Please remember that. By the way, and Mark Mayer reminds me of it, I'm watching, there's an actress. I don't know what she was in. Poppy Liu. Born in China. She got raised in Minnesota. What the hell is in the water there? She told a reporter that capitalism is the greatest evil in the world. Now, not only is she a success in this country that she couldn't achieve in China, number one. Number two, she talks about the oppression of capitalism. She comes from Red China. Do you know the insanity that entails? The level of insanity of this idiot. And I'm listening to Harrison Ford. I'm like, there is something going on when they touch. I lived in Hollywood. I didn't go goofy. They go insane. So Harrison Ford, shut the hell up. We'll enjoy your past performances. But shut the hell up. Robert De Niro, shut the hell up. And whoever Poppy Lou is, shut the hell up. You're making asses of yourselves. Maybe you just are. Dear Lord. All right. Well, anyway, my Picardo Jeweler's wife says it's 10 o'clock and change. That means that we've got to hear the news. Let's hear it. We'll come back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Great good morning, everyone. My Cordaro Jewelers watch tells me it's 10:08 and change on this beautiful but a bit steamy Tuesday, May 19th, Election Day, year of our Lord 2026. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and honor, with the help of our man John Basiliga and his great Serenity Care senior living community, the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we've lost this year, but celebrate today thanks to John. Like Guardsman and Wilkes-Barre City Cop, Captain John Smith. Carol Angwin of Taylor. Eugene Fury, Old Forge. David Palmeter, Taylor. Robert Tucker, Plymouth. And Donald Kozlowski, he was from Scranton. And so, with history, our amazing founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order after that brief news adjournment. This meeting of the Club for Common Sense promises you that our deep and unalterable commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity to all of you who hearken here. Claudette from Drums saying LTS, and thank you so much for the journey tickets. Don't thank me. You won them. That was hard work. You got to see those phones light up. Great stuff. Truck sale guys texts in. He says, it's not me. This is regarding that Chinese-American actress who's a complete ass. But the grandkids call me Poppy Lou. Well, you share something in common with her. Oh, Lord. In any event, we are back. So a while back, I don't remember how it started, but Nancy came in and I were talking, and I don't know if she might have said, well, what's Jim Bognett doing? And I said, I don't know, but I do text him every so often and so forth. That was our great candidate for Congress, and on two different elections. And so we got to talking. I said, whether she said or I said it, I don't remember, to be honest. But we both agreed when I'm not here or Rob's not here or Sue's not here, wouldn't it be great to have Jim Bognett part of the team here? And now he is. And here he is, our friend, congressional candidate, and much more. Currently, what are you, Director of Communications for what now? The World
Bob,
Bank?
Good to talk to you. No, I'm a partner at the Brunswick Group. We're helping companies deal with the Trump administration and get their message out across the country.
Okay, that was your old job in that a long and illustrious curriculum vitae. Well, first of all, Jim, we are proud to have you on board at WILK. I think you'll add a lot to the, those occasions when we could get you on the air. You'll add a lot to the discourse. You really will.
Well, I'm so excited to be with you all and can't wait to do my first show tomorrow afternoon, 3 to 6. We're going to be on WNEP tonight. We got a big election here, Bob. It's probably the hottest election day in history.
Talk to me. What do you think about it? It's a primary. We can't get people on, or to vote, rather. And we really need them to, even in the primaries.
We do. We need to show, for our side of the aisle, for the side that we tend to support, we need to show that we're as engaged and energized as the Democrats. That's my number one concern for the fall. Will Republican and independent voters that lean Republican be as engaged, show up as much as the Democrat voters? Because often, Bob, you know this, when a party's out of power, a lot of anger, a lot of rage, a lot of energy, which translates into turnout. So I'll be watching closely today to see how many Democrats turn out in their primaries versus how many Republicans.
Well, also, Jim, the other thing is that the Democrat Party is the party of government. It is the party of nonprofits. It is the party of public unions. And they're always motivated they're the party of government. They're motivated to vote and take power and hold power.
Well, it's always interesting when you see candidates on each side. Usually a Democrat candidate is somebody who served in government for the last 20 years and is looking for a new office. The Republican candidate is often someone that's been in business. I mean, look at the election here in the 8th Congressional District. You have Paige Cognetti coming from a few terms as mayor of Scranton. She just won another one last year.
Yeah, by the way,
Rob Bresnahan, who was in business.
A few awful terms as mayor. I'm suffering under her leadership in the city of Scranton. Yeah.
And then you have Rob Bresnahan, who was a businessman. So it's going to be really interesting to see as we turn here. And, I mean, the big one I'm going to be looking at statewide is the governor's race between Garrity and Shapiro, and I want to see those turnout numbers. And I'd love to get your opinion on what you're seeing out of that race.
I want to see Jason Ritchie win. I don't know that it'll be indicative of what happens in the fall. I know this. A traditional candidate, I think Shapiro would have slaughtered them because he's got so many people fooled, and he's got all the state media in his back pocket. I mean, they've got massive, massive scandals for sexual harassment and other issues that they will not even cover in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, and certainly not here with our Rags and Scranton area.
Well, rags is the right word. I mean, it's a continual disappointment. And, it's interesting. You cannot get local newspapers to cover races in any kind of fair and comprehensive way. So that's why WILK is so important, to get the message out, get candidates on, and let voters hear from them.
Well, I'm so happy you're on board, and you're going to start as soon as tomorrow to fill in and do shows. Unfortunately, you've got a real job, so you're not going to be able to do it all the time. But I think it's all your experience in government, in business, consulting, all of that, plus twice candidate for Congress against that left-wing machine, it gives you incredible insight into all the issues that we talk about every day.
Well, Bob, I certainly have some stories to tell. I mean, I'll just tell you, waking up on Election Day and not being a candidate and not having to worry about where the machines are going to be broken down, what's going on with the machines, and, how many of your supporters are going to call you and tell you that they ran out of paper in Luzerne County. It's a good feeling to not have to worry about that today.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. So tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock, you're filling in for Rob O'Donnell, and you're going to be able to relate how that feels. And I got to tell you, as a commentating on elections versus being part of them is really nice.
All the fun, none of the stress.
Exactly. Tell me, you faced Matt Cartwright, an old buddy of mine, but he went with his party over his district, and he went insane left. And I never understood why. I never even got to talk to him about it as to why, both he and Bob Casey. And instead of sticking to conservative pro-life Democrats as they were elected, what is your sense of this Democrat Party? Because now they're combining with Islamist extremists to push the country even further. They've got multi-billionaires and billionaire groups like Arabella funding all of these insane protests, backing all these lies. Do the real people have a chance against this kind of maelstrom that includes the media, academia?
We do. I mean, look at what happened in the 2024 election. The people, in spite of all of that attack, rose up and reelected President Trump to the presidency. So we do have a chance, but we got to keep fighting. There's no doubt about that. I will say, there's two reasons for, why former, people who profess to be moderates like Cartwright went far left. And you could see it still affecting today. Number one, all of the money for these campaigns comes out of the big cities, which tends to be leftist money. That's where, Cartwright's money came from. Pelosi was the conduit. Was the Speaker of the House. She was raising all that money to send to Cartwright. So when he said that he wasn't for her, wasn't voting with her 100%, we knew that was false. But I think the other interesting thing, Bob, is that if you look at what's happening to John Fetterman today, I mean, John Fetterman was elected as a very left-leaning Democrat. And the minute he did something that they didn't agree with on an important issue, Israel, standing up for Israel, immigration, saying we should close the border, the minute he had a position that was common sense and centrist or conservative, the Democrat Party ostracized him. He literally sits in the Republican cloakroom before votes now because the Democrat Party, they won't talk to him. They won't deal with him. So think about that. This is a guy who votes 80% of the time with the Democrats.
Maybe
but
even
they have
more.
Ostracized and attacked. Yeah, maybe more. And they attack him because he's not there 100%. So those are the consequences to Democratic candidates if they don't follow the party line.
Crazy stuff. Well, your voice added to all of ours provides that much more richness, that much more depth to WILK. Jim Bugnett, I'm looking forward to listening tomorrow afternoon and whenever you are on. Even if I'm on vacation on a beach, I'll know that my show is in good hands if you're here.
Well, thanks, Bob. You're largely to thank for making this happen, so I appreciate it and can't wait to join y'all.
All right. Jim Bugnett, our candidate for Congress, and also our new part-time talk show and host at WILK. We'll take a break. We'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. This date, 1973. Sweet moved up to number 3 with their hit, Little Willie. And, of course, before that, the incomparable performance of Marilyn Monroe, this date, 1962. Happy birthday to John F. Kennedy with his brief commentary after. Just classic Americana. Oh, isn't it amazing? A lot of people happy that Jim Bugnett is on the WILK team. Just to clarify, he'll be doing part-time, filling in when he can. It's quite a process. This is a huge company. So it's quite a process to become available for part-time. So Jim is going to do that for us, and that's good stuff. Somebody texts in, Bob, did you hear Tyler Myers yesterday on the Sue Henry show? I did not. He didn't know how much money he raised on his campaign finance report, which he signed. Very concerning to me and just shows how he has no idea what's going on. Vote Baker for Senate today, one of the listeners says. Another cabinet guy says, good to hear about the new voice. Someone else apparently not approving about Jim Bugnett. Great, another MAGA nutcase on WILK. I wear that crown proudly, just so you know. Somebody else texted in, sinkhole in Wilkes-Barre because of a failure of a 1928 water main. Where have all the fees customer paid for almost 100 years gone? What a crock. I cannot disagree with you. I know. So, well, there was a point I was trying to get to. Oh, I've got to mention, and in this hour, as I do every hour, I want to remind you, we are live streaming the program. You could see I've got that Army drab green Camp Freedom shirt on. So you'll know between the past shows and the current, you can look up all the past shows, just as you can from an audio perspective on WILKnewsradio.com. But you can look under YouTube, Bob Cordaro YouTube. Go to YouTube, Bob Cordaro WILK, and you'll find the show live today, which is brought to you live stream by Roche Supply, ROCHE. Remember that. It's the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania, celebrating 75 years in business. All of those years with nonagenarian Ron Roach and veteran, nonagenarian and veteran Ron Roach, who's still the boss. Visit RoachSupply.com today, ROCHE. Just great people, and you know somebody's in business 75 years, you know they are honest. You know they are good and great at what they do and taking care of customers. I say the same thing. I get to say the same thing about Bacardos. It's just good stuff in any event. By the way, Rick Bigelow is going to be on Friday for our just a little bit of Memorial Day discussion. There are... and somebody asked him to comment on Audie Murphy. But military cemeteries around the world. Well, he'll be on with us Friday to talk about that. That's a big deal. Some of the people who didn't come home at all. They're buried where they fought. We don't want to forget about that. We want to remember what Memorial Day is for. We have to remember what Memorial Day is for. Donald Trump, he's currently speaking on the White House construction. Now, I clarified this once, but it's unfortunately for those, remember we used to do this on Saturday Night Live, for those hard of hearing, we will say it again. Once the construction concept was approved and moving forward, for national security and for a lot of reasons, the government people stepped in and said, look, we're already digging the hole. Let's increase all of our infrastructure, all of our security infrastructure. Let's put more safety, more bunkers, stronger bunkers. maybe we'll see a bigger situation room, or at least the computer and other structural backup for the intelligence apparatus we need to have in the White House. That's $1 billion. The ballroom itself is still going to be paid for by private interests. But once you do construction of the White House, they want to go underground. And they want to make things happen. Trump showing renderings and everything. I'm telling you, I know a lot of you hate him, and I get it. But his policies, his guts, his pro-American, it's indisputable. It truly is. And he's also very funny if you like him. If you hate him, well, there's nothing I can do about that. Hey, I want to remind you, before we take this break, Tina Morocco bringing you this hour, Global Sales Advisor at Sotheby's International. I know in Naples, Florida, I know people from this area who've gone to see her, and they are thanking me. You don't have to thank me. Thank Tina. She's getting the job done. You go to Sotheby's International in Naples, or you go to Tina Morocco, MURACCO.com, or anywhere on social media, Facebook, you name it, Tina Morocco, and just find out what she's up to and start exploring, because she is your trusted source and trusted guide for Florida real estate, specializing in Southwest Florida, TinaMorocco.com. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back. State Rep Jamie Walsh is on the blower. We'll get to him after our Veterans Tribute and the WEDA. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and this day, as with every hour and every day of this program, brought to you by a great patriot, a friend of the vets, John Basiliga. Somebody mentioned they go to his restaurants because he sponsors our veterans, and I said amen. And by the way, I also keep going because they're fabulous. But another part of his empire, Serenity Care, personal care community, senior living second to none in Northeast Pennsylvania. All 4 personal care locations. Mid-Valley section of Lackawanna County, Old Forge, Wyoming, and Kingston, completely renovated inside and out. You say, well, why? You just don't most people just milk these nursing homes, these senior care facilities? Not John, because he's got a passion for providing the highest quality senior care in Northeast PA and beautiful personal cares homes for seniors to live in. And he's done it. The gold standard for senior living in Northeast Pennsylvania, Serenity Care. Check them out. Eugene Fury. He was from Old Forge. We lost him May 3rd at age 85. His beloved wife of 60 years, Barbara Vishnesky Fury, preceded him in death just 2 months before on March 27th this year. Born in Old Forge, graduate Old Forge High School. Also attended Pennsylvania College of Electronics. Eugene served honorably in the U.S. Army, specifically in the Carpathian Mountains as an interpreter of code between the Germans and Russians during the West German rearmament. Eugene possessed a remarkable analytical mind, coupled with natural curiosity about how things worked. His technical knowledge proved invaluable while he served in the military. He was employed as a valued repairman at Sugarman's at first, and later worked at Tobyhanna Army Depot as a satellite communications analyst for over 30 years. His work ethic, he never missed any days of work. Amazing. Lifelong parishioner of St. Mary of Assumption Church, now called Prince of Peace. Member of the American Legion in Taylor. The family wishes to acknowledge the medical staff of the 5th Florid Geisinger CMC for exceptional care Eugene received. He leaves behind his daughters, their grandchildren, a number of other great family members. Eugene Fury. David Palmiter. He was from Taylor. We lost him April 29th. His spouse, Rosemary Revels Palmiter of Taylor, and David had been married for 67 years. He was born in Bordentown, New Jersey. Proudly served us in the United States Army, including time spent overseas in France. He carried that sense of duty and pride with him throughout his life. After the Army, David was employed as an insurance agent with MetLife for 18 years, then became an independent insurance agent, maintaining offices at Connor Hellring in Scranton. A student of history, he had a deep love and passion for antique firearms and antiquities. He and his wife, Rosemary, were members of Sacred Heart of Jesus for decades, serving as Eucharistic ministers, involved in the CCD, the music ministry program. Rosemary would sing while David played guitar, one of the passions of his life. He was an outdoorsman. He loved to hunt and fish. In addition to his wife also surviving, his children, their spouses, 5 of them, 17 grandchildren, and 17 great-grandchildren. Another amazing legacy. David Palmiter. Our great veterans this hour, brought to you by our man, John Basiliga, Serenity Care Senior Living, the gold standard for senior living in Northeast Pennsylvania. AccuWeather forecast brought to you by the great gang, which is swinging into spring as I speak at Montage Mountain Resort. They're getting ready for summer, never mind spring. Today, sunshine mixing with clouds and hot. A thunderstorm in the area late this afternoon. Thunderstorms can bring localized damaging wind gusts. Be cautious, high 92. Tonight, partly cloudy, warm and humid, low 69. Tomorrow, not as warm, with times of clouds and sun. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm in the afternoon. Thunderstorms can bring localized damaging wind gusts. High 81 tomorrow, low 48, so a little more comfortable. Thursday, not as warm, lower humidity with intervals of clouds and sunshine, 69 degrees with a low of 45. Friday, sun and areas of high clouds, 67, low 49. I heard Snedeker on the morning news this morning, lousy on Saturday, but that's what AccuWeather says too. Cooler with periods of rain. Outdoor plans can be impacted. High of just 55, low of 51. And that's your weather from Montage Mountain, where it is 86 as I deliver this report. Paul Simon, Murph tells us this date, 1973, he released his hit, Kodachrome. Bob Cordaro back, and you heard that little ditty. There's somebody telling the truth. Just telling the truth. Stop the nonsense. Stop using us. That's what a lot of African Americans are saying. That's what a lot of blacks are saying. Stop using us. My God, for your own agenda, which we know what it is. You actually want to reduce the value of an American vote. You want illegals to vote. You've said so. You've had legislation in your Democrat-run cities to have illegals vote. Non-citizens vote. Crazy. These are crazy people. They truly are. And they, like any crazy person, you tell them they're crazy, they deny it. And I want them to just look in the mirror. Wake up. Well, Jamie Walsh is our state representative, and he is with us now. Jamie, how are you? Good to talk to you.
Hey, Rob, how you doing?
Good. So you're approaching an election day. I mean, last time it went forever.
Yeah, 5 months.
I hope you're well, I hope nobody has to face that kind of craziness, but you're in an election where every vote counts.
Yeah, and listen, I'd love to dovetail right into your last segment there that you were speaking about the right to vote. What does the right to vote matter when we're going to have a 20% turnout today?
Oh, that's sad.
I have never in my lifetime seen the polls as slow as they are today. I'm up in Butler Township. This is either the first or second largest poll in all of Luzerne County. And we had 50 voters come before 9 o'clock. 50. There should be 1,000. There should be I don't know, 1,000 to 1,200 votes here today, and it ain't going to happen unless people get out to vote. So, Rob, everybody's right to vote is great. Once they get it, they don't use it.
Yeah.
And here we are. We're in, I have a contested primary challenge right now, and we're going to have 20% of the people decide who's the next state representative in our area.
Yeah.
It's just a sad state of affairs, and this makes me very fearful of what's going to happen in the fall election for governor, for Bresnahan's race. Makes me very, very concerned. I just don't understand what's so hard about going out and doing your civic duty.
I say it often, Jamie Walsh. We have a duty to do this, and when previous generations were called upon, they did things like take Iwo Jima, like storm the beaches at Normandy, and all we're being asked is to spend a little bit of our time and press some buttons and write some things down. That's it. They really got to get out.
You're absolutely right. I mean, it can't be any easier right now to exercise your right to vote. There's probably going to be 1,500 mail-in ballots in my race. That's what was requested. So let's say there's a 70% turnout with them. I mean, people get delivered to their house and they still don't vote.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we want to change this country, you can have the best candidate on the ballot all you want. People stay home. They don't vote. They don't take it seriously. But they're the first ones complaining about everything that's going on.
Well, we wish you the best of luck today, State Rep Jamie Walsh. Keep mining for votes as the day goes on.
You got it. Thanks for the time, Rob.
All right,
Have a great day.
Take care, always. And by the way, so you know, candidates, there's a lot of races. People think, well, I have a dog in the fight. Well, most often I don't. But I'm up for Lisa Baker. But if her opponent called, he goes on the air if we could get him on the air. Same with every race. Just so you know, that's what it's for. This is a public forum. If I disagree with you on some particular issue or whatever, I just wonder, well, why are we running against Republicans? Why run against Republican incumbents? That's what I never understand. We've got enough problems. Go find a Democrat to run against. Their philosophy, their agenda is destroying the damn country. Shouldn't we do that first? That's what I say. In any event. All right, we'll take a break. It's Election Day. Start thinking about and planning to vote today. Just get there. Well, okay, when can I fit it in? All right, when do I have an hour? And then don't let it not happen. Just get there. All right? Do your duty. It's important. We'll be back. I'm hoping Massey gets beat in Kentucky. He's become a real pain in the A. And he was a dope to start with. Like, even when he was conservative, I was like, I don't know why. I just don't like this guy. Well, Trump's against him, and he's batting up almost 100% in Republican primaries. I was shocked. Senator Cassidy got beat. And he was a limp wrister and awful. And so he got beat in Louisiana. An incumbent United States Senator, he came in third in the primary. So now when we think about people like Massey and Cassidy, let's talk about something amazing and great, and that's St. Teresa. I missed yesterday, so I've got two. All the better. May 18th, Mother Teresa, St. Teresa. Love is not about patronizing, and charity isn't about pity. It's about pouring ourselves out for others. Charity and love are the same. With charity, you give love. So don't just give money, but reach out your hand also. That's St. Teresa, Mother Teresa, for yesterday. And for today, May 19th. She says, we should ask ourselves, have I really experienced the joy of loving? True love is love that causes pain, that hurts, and yet brings joy. This is why we pray, asking for the courage to love and love more deeply than ever before. Great stuff. St. Teresa, Mother Teresa for the day. And juxtapositions with Leonard Skinner, which Mark Mayer highly approves of. We're back. Bob Joe from Edwardsville here. He texts in. I'm obviously not from Scranton, but know my way around there a little bit. Due to a detour on Main Avenue, I find myself in North Scranton neighborhood. They also have the Hometown Heroes signs up. Quite impressive. I had to force myself to keep my eyes on the road. That's how nice they were. And oh, yes, I did not see any grifter scumbag banners in that particular neighborhood. Yeah, I know it. I know it. They're just from the Greenridge Neighborhood Association. That's all. Sad, disgusting, and more so because they know they're wrong. That's absolutely disturbing. But anyway, back to the subject. Mother Teresa, St. Teresa, bringing it to us, Mary Regina, and we thank you. T. Bell texted in Trump's presser, and he was taking questions outside the ballroom construction. He said, with literal construction going on, with the loud banging, everything is the most Trump thing ever. I had friends of mine in prison, mob guys, and they did all the, they had the concrete and different contracting businesses and major projects in Manhattan. And they liked Trump. They said he came in to a meeting, no security, a job meeting, and he talked straight, and we'd argue and whatever, and we'd get to a solution, and we liked dealing with him. And at that time, it's prior to him getting elected, they said he'd be a good president. And I'm sure they feel the same way now. Yeah, that's Trump. He loves his construction. All right. I look down, then I look up, and I see it's 11 o'clock on my Picardo Jewelers watch. I do need to remind you, I've got a Picardo Jewelers watch. It says Picardo's on it. But they've got Breitling, Oris, Longines, Michelle, Shinola, Luminox, Swiss Army, Seiko, Tory Burch, Victorinox, Bulova, G-Shock, and more. And guess what? It happens to be the greatest jewelry store maybe on the planet, but certainly in Northeast PA, Picardo's Jewelers. And it's family run, and they've been doing it for 3 generations now. Just great stuff. All right, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll be back after the news, I promise. Great good morning, everyone. It's 11:09 a.m. I'm at Ricardo Jewelers Watch. This beautiful Tuesday, May 19, Election Day 2026 here in the great Northeast. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and honor, with the help of our man, John Basiliga, and his great Serenity Care senior living community, the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like veterans we've lost this year, but salute today, thanks to John. Like David Palmater of Taylor, Eugene Fury, Old Forge, Captain John Smith, Wilkes-Barre, Carol Angwin, Taylor, Robert Tucker, Leyte, California, but he was from Plymouth, and Donald Kozlowski, Scranton. So, with history, our amazing founding fathers, who we will not allow to be canceled, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, telling you that, in a world that's gone insane, and so many, the media, academia, the paid protesters, and people just protesting about things they have no idea about. The things are exact opposite of that which is true. Protesting against ending government waste and fraud. The media, which is totally insane. Well, 90% insane. Public service unions. Public employee unions, let's be more accurate. They don't serve anybody but themselves. And all of that, you need a sanctuary of sanity, because they're telling you the opposite of that which is true, that which is obvious to you. And now you have a little group called the Green Ridge Neighborhood Association who are pretending that it's okay to debase our veterans by honoring Joe Biden, who dodged service as a hometown hero, as a military veteran. And it's stolen valor, and it's a disgrace. One of our listeners texting in, Bob LTS, let me break down the word and definition of the name Biden like Red Skelton does with the Pledge of Allegiance. The B stands for blunder. The letter I for incompetent. The letter D for dumb. The letter E in Biden stands for erroneous. And finally, the letter N for nut. Now say it with me. Biden, blunder, incompetent, dumb, erroneous, nut. Hope you all enjoyed my Biden translation on this election day. God bless all of you. Thank you. You have blessed us. You certainly have. Contact the Green Ridge Neighborhood Association through their Facebook page, through their website, if they still have one. Even after finding out that the hometown hero banners were for veterans, they persist. It's day 156 of the Biden banner disgrace. Stolen valor. Tell the Green Ridge Neighborhood Association what you think of them debasing our great veterans, especially as we approach Memorial Day. Shame on you. Take the banner down. $11:15, I'm at Ricardo Jewelers Watch. And just to remind you, we are on live stream. I've got my Camp Freedom shirt on. That's that amazing facility. By the way, we heard of Equines for Freedom. We had that on a couple weeks ago. They had an event. Well, Camp Freedom is somewhat similar. It's an immersive weekend, or however long you need it to be, allowing you to restore yourself for veterans, first responders, and Gold Star families who need it as much as anybody. But I've got my olive drab Camp Freedom T-shirt on. I told you, one of the biggest compliments I ever got in my life. I walked in there when we did the show up there, and one of the veterans there said, "You look like every gunny sergeant I ever had." You could have knocked me over with a feather. I was so flattered. In any event, that live stream that I'm talking about brought to you by our friends at Roach Supply, the premier bath and kitchen supplier in Northeast Pennsylvania. 75 years in business, nonagenarian, and because he doesn't age, and veteran Ron Roach, still at the helm. 3 generations working side by side. Visit Roach Supply, ROCHE supply.com today. The great patriots, great family. I always get to brag about the Picardos, and I always get to brag about the Roach gang. I mean, these are amazing people. Get to brag about John Basiliga's companies. Everybody I endorse, I believe 1,000% in, just so you know. And that's why it works out. Somebody texted in, Bob, I grew up in Green Ridge. My family, Lebanese Italian grandparents, settled in West Scranton. Lackawanna County is unrecognizable. Shame on the politicians for putting their political interests above the needs of their communities. My grandparents must be rolling in their graves. Gone are the days of having pride and accountability to your neighborhood. Please encourage all local conservatives to run for office, any office, and fast. It will take everyone getting involved if it's salvageable at all. Vote today against these parasites that have been running our beautiful area into the dumps. And I'll tell you what, I talk about Paige Cognetti a lot because I'm stuck and subjected to her incompetence as mayor. And I walk around, and Chauncey, he doesn't walk far. Last night I went by myself. I said, it's too hot. We turned the AC on. For Chauncey, for the damn dog, we turned the air conditioning on because I don't like air conditioning anyway. I didn't walk Chauncey, so I went longer. I mean, it's only 2.6 miles is all I did. But it's longer than I take him, which is only about a mile. At most, by the way, but separately. And he's only a year old, a little over a year. But he's a bull. He's a bull mastiff. Anyway. I'm walking around, and I walk around all the time, and I see these basically abandoned houses in the city of Scranton, unkempt properties. And I think to myself, what a gorgeous neighborhood this could be, what a gorgeous area this could be, whatever, wherever I happen. And I'm thinking, we've got no standards. We've got a mayor who's more worried about getting the urinals out of the bathroom and which, if we call somebody they and them, instead of taking care and doing the damn job. So you are so right. You are so right, and thank you for texting that in. By the way, somebody texted in, it's called khaki green. I thought it was olive drab also. Isn't that a synonym? I'll go with you, but I thought it was olive drab or khaki green, but I will stand corrected if it's necessary. You guys could weigh in 570-883-0098 on the text. Somebody texts in and says Trump wants to pay pardoned January 6ers. Doesn't that make them paid protesters? Cute point. Jim from Hazelton said he sent pictures. I don't have any. You've got to send them to my email, Robert.Cordaro, Cordaro, at Odyssey, AUDACY.com. Robert.Cordaro, Cordaro, at Odyssey, AUDACY.com. Jim, you could send me the pictures. By the way, good Red Skelton-esque description of Joe Biden. Yeah. What a buffoon Biden is. Disgrace. While he was in office. And these people want to adore him and honor him for something he didn't do. If he was a military veteran, as much as a goof, as corrupt, as disastrous and destructive as he was, I would have no problem with that banner. Somebody texted in, and Jeff Lake, that's the guy running against Marty Flynn, is another one that wants people that revitalize downtown Scranton to build low-income housing so they could trash that too. I mean, enough. In Italian, they say basta. Can't these people stop with the left-wing insanity? Well, when I saw that this guy running against Marty Flynn in the primary said, he called him a MAGA. And I mean, I said to myself, this person is so stupid, so idiotic. I don't know what he needs help. Never mind to get elected state senate. Unreal. These people are unreal. Joe from Tripspark says, I forgot we had 4 years of politicians announcing their pronouns. The Biden era made the COVID years look normal. They did. They did. By the way, we're going to, on Thursday, I've got a civil rights complaint has been filed against Penn State's law school. They've got this anti-racial program. Please don't think that this DEI and woke nonsense is gone. The scumbags just changed the name and keep spending your money to pursue their sick, twisted agenda. Please don't ever think they're going away. Why do we play the battle, the war, the battle's over, but the war goes on? Because of that very fact. Thursday, we've got a guest coming on to talk about that. It's crazy stuff. Somebody says, I'm going to go down Electric Street, stand on the porch, and blast 2 shotgun shots in the sky. I guess when the neighborhood association has me arrested, I can tell them Joe Biden told me to do it. Music Man says, who the first man to vote for 2 years in a row now. He says, John Blasley has done more for the city of Scranton than Mayor Cognetti has done in office by a mile. By a mile. And quickly, khaki, somebody says, a warm, earthy brown color. And the name has become synonymous with fatigues of the same color. Khakis are khaki. All the drab is the green version. Olive drab is the green version. See, I could interpret talk to type on talk to text. Olive drab is the green version. That's what I have is the green version, not the khaki version. Khaki green version. I've never heard of that, actually, when I'm thinking about it. Anyway, we've got to take a break. We want to hear from our great sponsors because they make this happen. Then we will come back and do what we got to do. We got a little history, a little music, and then some phone calls and all of you. And you can reach us at 570-883-0098. Our Veterans Tribute, brought to you this hour as with every hour, and this day as with every day, dutifully, proudly, patriotically, by our man John Basiliga. Today featuring his great Serenity Care senior living facilities in the Mid-Valley section of Lackawanna County, Old Forge, Wyoming, and Kingston. Dementia care units at the Mid-Valley and Kingston locations. John has a true passion for providing the highest quality senior care in this area. And these beautiful personal care homes have all been completely renovated inside and out, accepting new residents. The features of these facilities it's just top shelf. It is the gold standard in Northeast Pennsylvania and beyond. Serenity Care Senior Living. Robert Tucker, he was only 70 when he died April 24th. He was from Hemet, California. Born in Plymouth, Pennsylvania. Graduating from high school in 1972. He immediately joined the United States Marine Corps, where he proudly served this country for 5 years, earning the rank of corporal. In 1980, he moved to San Diego, where he spent 36 years working as a civil servant for the Department of the Navy, where he was a sheet metal mechanic, ending his career as a planner and estimator. He also served as a reservist in the Army National Guard after moving to California. He retired from civil service and enjoyed his past decade as a retiree. He was a true patriot who spent the majority of his life in service to this nation. He's survived by his wife of 48 years, Rosemary, their 2 children, daughter-in-law, nieces, nephews, 5 grandchildren to whom he was a proud pop-up. Robert Tucker was a loving and devoted father, grandfather, and husband. Donald Kozlowski. We lost him May 3rd at age 99. Born in Scranton, 1926. He lived in his early years in North Scranton before moving to Dixon City. At the outbreak of World War II, he dropped out of high school and enlisted in the U.S. Navy. Deployed to the Pacific Theater, he served all of us aboard the USS Toluga and was later stationed in Tokyo after the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. After being honorably discharged, Don returned to Pennsylvania, and in 1951, he married his beloved wife, Pearl, in St. Mary's Cathedral, Dixon City. Subsequently, he and Pearl moved to Rockaway, New Jersey, where Don obtained his graduate equivalent degree and began working as a civil servant at Picatinny Arsenal, now the U.S. Army Armament Research Development and Engineering Center. Upon retirement there, he continued to work for several years with Warnock Ryan Dodge in Livingston, New Jersey. Don especially enjoyed traveling with his wife, England, Scotland, Ireland, Spain, Italy, France, Gibraltar, Hawaii, and the Caribbean islands. Those travels ended with his wife's death in 1999. And after living in Rockaway for over 40 years, Don returned to Pennsylvania, residing in Peckville until he became a resident of Willowbrook Place in 2023. Don is survived by his son, Donald. He's further survived by 2 step-granddaughters, nieces, nephews, and other family. Preceded in death by his dear wife, Pearl. Don was a very health-conscious and lived a healthy lifestyle. He enjoyed wholesome food and relished a couple glasses of red wine every day. Donald Kozlowski, our great veterans this hour, brought to you, as always, by the man, John Basiliga, and his gold standard Serenity Care Senior Living Facilities. AccuWeather forecast brought to you by the great gang at Montage Mountain Resorts. They're swinging into spring and now summer. Water parks are going to be open soon. There's always something happening at Montage Mountain Resort. find out what's happening and be a part of it. Today, sunshine mixing with clouds. It'll be hot. A thunderstorm in the area late this afternoon. Thunderstorms can bring localized damaging wind gusts, high 92. Tonight, partly cloudy, warm and humid, 69 the low. Tomorrow, not as warm with times of clouds and sun. A couple of showers and a thunderstorm in the afternoon. Thunderstorms on Wednesday can bring localized damaging wind gusts. It'll be 81 degrees, low 48. Thursday, not as warm, lower humidity. Intervals of clouds and sunshine, high 69, low 45. Friday, sun and areas of high clouds, 67 degrees, low 49. Saturday, cooler with periods of rain. It's going to be a lousy day by most standards. Outdoor plans can be impacted. It'll only get up to about 55, low of 51. So a deteriorating weather picture brought to you by the great gang at Montage Mountain Resorts. Right now on Montage Mountain, 88 degrees. Murph says that on this date, 1984, ZZ Top released their hit Legs on Dusty Hill's birthday. He was born May 19th, 1949, Dallas, Texas. And, of course, the ever shallow and unintelligent, but very clever, because she knows how to sell herself, AOC. My God. This is who... I would leave the Democrat Party just because she's the leader. And Hakeem Jeffries. And I could go through the list. These are people that make me vomit in my mouth when I hear them speak or even see them anymore. Joe Biden. I'm ready to vomit in my mouth. They should make you ashamed to vote Democrat. They really should. And let's go to a candidate calling in, David Bergeroff. How are you, David?
Hey, Bob, thanks for taking my call and placing me after AOC. At least I won't sound like a complete idiot.
It's not a high bar at this moment, so please raise it for us.
Yes, well, as my opening silo, I'm not going to be launching any missiles. What I want to do today is I'm a elected Republican district committee man, and I am also running for state representative in the 114th. But I wanted to just call in today because, I've been critical of the party, and I don't want to be critical. I want to encourage people to get out, and I want to let them know that if 4 candidates that I believe are really worth showing up at the polls for today, besides obviously Stacey Garrity, who's the #1 vote getter in the state in history, Rob Bresnahan, who's just been amazing. I want to point out that we have committee people up, and that's the most important part because that's the foundation and infrastructure of our party.
You got to build
and
it
I
up.
just like to say, yes, I'd love to say Lynn Kokinda. My God.
And don't forget Jason
decades.
Ritchie, our lieutenant governor candidate.
Yes.
We've got to vote for him
I voted
separately.
for him as well today.
Yeah.
Both my son and myself voted for him. Lynn Kokinda, though, decades of service to the party. I mean, she knocked more doors than probably any candidate that's ever been out there. She's never wanted anything. At this point, she's running for state committee person because it's time that we truly get some leadership in there. Along with her, you have Laureen Cummings. Mark Payne, who everyone should know, and obviously Frank Scavo. We have 6 people on the ballot. Those 4 I just find, I think we have 7 actually. Those 4 I just find are amazing. I've watched them for years. I've seen them actually put in the work. They do more than talk. They actually get out there. They put their feet to the pavement, and I don't think you could say anything more. And people don't necessarily know our committee people that well, and that's why I felt it incumbent upon myself to call in and just make sure that people heard those 4 names today, because if you don't know who to vote for, those are 4 I highly recommend.
Appreciate that very much. And look at it, you're going to win the primary, but no reason not to vote for you either. All right, David?
No, Rob, actually, I have a contested primary, but I do expect to win, hoping that people recognize me. I did get 10,000 votes last time I ran against Bridget. If they Google my name, they will see my debate against Bridget. My platform has been consistent all these years, because you know as well as I do, nothing has changed, nothing has improved.
I did not know you had an opponent in the primary. I'm actually shocked.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. And that's good, though, right, Bob? And so hopefully people take the opportunity to seek out my name. And maybe, next time we will come together better as a party, and we'll put together solid candidates. There's nothing wrong with contested primaries, but there's also some things to be said that we put up an excellent candidate, and we could put all our might and power and money behind them so they can get their name out early, and we don't have such a negative campaign like we've had this last election. Unfortunately, that's how it went, and we need to move beyond that and get together. And that's one thing we know. We're Christians for the most part, and we know enough to forgive and move on, and that's what we're going to do, Bob.
Amen. I love all that. David Bergeroff, thank you so much. Hey, we got to take a break. We're going to come back because I got more calls to come to get to on this election day, this primary election day. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. A bulldog can't press the commercial button. Shouldn't you want me to take the phone calls now? And you let me know when it's working. I love it. Jim from Harding on the election. How are you, Jim?
Pretty good. No, I just want to point certain things out. You know, how the Democrats keep saying they're protecting our Constitution, but they keep talking out of both sides of their mouth. And the reason why I'm saying that, Jeffrey say they're Democrats are doing the will of the people, but they refuse to vote for the SAVE Act.
Yes.
They're saying.
By the way, Jim, every time they say something, the Democrat leadership says something, the exact opposite is true. Every time they accuse us of something, common sense, normal people, that means that they are in the process of doing it or already got caught doing it.
No, but they're saying the SAVE Act will disfranchise people of color and married women. Yet they say that everybody's vote should be heard, but they want to get rid of the Electoral College where only 6 or 7 states will pick our president. Their words are based on clever deception. It's sinful.
It's crazy stuff. I'm telling you. And by the way, Gavin Newsom is talking about how he's got departments and he's got power as the sitting governor to prevent 2 Republicans from winning that California primary. That's how insane these people are. They do the exact opposite.
They say that Republicans are, like Nazis and Hitsis. I tell you what, I was telling my friend, keep an eye on California governor race. They're going to screw those 2 Republicans out of the seat.
And by the way, who forced you to get the shot? It wasn't Republicans. What they say, the opposite is true. What they accuse you of is what they are doing or will do. Thank you, Jim.
To make one more statement, my one brother, he asked me, well, who would you vote for? I said, just listen to the Democrats. Anything they say, do the opposite.
Amen. Thank you. Hey, Fred from West Pittston. Hi, Fred.
How you doing, Bob? I just met that Tyler Myers over by our church in the hall, and I asked him a couple of questions about how his money was raised, and he just was like, a couple people were there right there, and I made sure that, they heard me. And I don't see him as an honest person. I see him like that, what's his name that's against Trump now? I can't think of his name. Massey. I see him in that kind of way. Like he wasn't steady. He just wasn't a solid person.
Well, I asked him, I said, why don't you run against a Democrat? What are you doing running against? To me, I've known her for a long time. I'm aware of her job. I'm aware of the things she's done I'm a Lisa Baker fan. Period. And I don't understand why would you go after when the balance in the Senate is so narrow. Why would you do this? I don't get it.
Yeah, that's why. No, you can't trust a person like this because you don't know why they're there. You really don't know why they're there. Yeah. We know why Lisa Baker was there. Thanks, Bob.
All right, man. Thank you. Bulldog, can we run commercials? Yeah. All right. We've got more calls to get to, but we're going to do that if we can sneak them in after this break. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Well, we're going to finish with the logical song, which the Bulldogs didn't have to stretch. That's all. No big deal. That was our last song. And Murph tells us this date, 1979, Supertramp had the #1 album with Breakfast in America. And Murph loves the logical song because there is no logic on the other side. Sadly, disturbingly. It's what is. All right. Discombobulated because our equipment wasn't working momentarily, or at least the Bulldog claims. Bob, if somebody takes it, Bob, if I were the mayor of Scranton and you called me out like you do with Paige Cognetti, I would immediately call the radio station to counter. Has Paige ever called you? No, she has not. If not, I am not the least bit surprised, says Bob from Warrior Run. She's never called. I've offered to have her on the air. By the way, before I found out she was awful at her job. Because I said, let me have the mayor of Scranton on. I live there. It's our area's biggest city, all that. She did not come on. Dodged appearing even from the beginning. Because the left-wing lunacy, as they say in Star Wars, looms large with this one. All right, let's go. We got Suzanne Green for Republican State Committee. Suzanne, we don't have much time, but thank you for calling. Where are you running?
Hi there. Hi, I am running for the state committee, and I'm glad to be, putting my hat in the ring. And I do concur with David Bergerhoff, the other 4 people that he named. But you can vote for 5, so I would appreciate a vote.
So it's in Lackawanna County, Suzanne. It's in Lackawanna County.
Yep, Lackawanna County.
Okay.
I'm right now a school board member at Lackawanna Trail School District, and I'm a former chief financial officer. I have run for office before, and I'm an activist here in our community to do the best that we can to stop exploitation and to protect our citizens. So that's why I'm running, so that I could take that experience that I've had from business into the state Republican Party and support our other candidates. I support both David Bergerhoff and Logan Lombardo. They're running against each other in 114, and I wish them both good luck. And as well as there's 7 of us running for the state committee. Only 5 of us will make it, but any of the 5 is going to be great. I hope that people do vote for me. Because I do think that it'll be a fresh voice in the Republican committee there in the state level.
Well, Suzanne, thank you very much for calling in. Thank you for doing it, and thank you for being you for being involved. We're having a hard time getting people to vote, but then people like you putting their names on the line. That's good.
Right now, I'm at Benton Township, and their machines are down. I'm actually going to go in and find out what the reason is. And find out, why the machines are down and voters are waiting here for long line to wait to vote because the machine is down. So I'm here to solve some problems.
And where is this? Where is this, Suzanne Green? Where is this?
Benton Township.
Benton Township. Okay.
In northern part of Lackawanna County.
Yeah, yep.
But their machine is down. I think it's due to the heat, but we're going to go in and see what we can do to make sure that everybody gets to vote.
All right. Well, so great. We got to go, but great luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Suzanne Green.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Jim, we've only got a few seconds left. I tried to get the candidate on.
That's okay. So Donald Trump needs to listen to Kamala Harris for once and expand the Supreme Court, blow up the filibuster, and do all those fun things that she's talking about.
We should do it. I can't disagree. We should do it now. Put 4 additional Republican conservatives on, and let's go, baby. We know what they're going to do. But these idiots in the U.S. Senate will not get rid of the filibuster. And we're going to pay the price when the Democrats take control of the Senate, which is sooner or later. May not be this time, but it may be. It's coming.
The gift that I'm hoping for elections for presidential election in 28 is Kamala Harris an AOC ticket. That would just be a gift to us Republicans.
Well,
it would be great.
And I could still say that the puddles in front of my house are deeper than the both of them combined. Thank you, my man. Always a pleasure. Guys, we got to go. Sue Henry Show next. Rob O'Donnell after that. But for now, we've got to gavel a close today's meeting of the Club for Common Sense. God willing, I'll be with you tomorrow morning. We are adjourned. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy the heat if you can.